Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are taking another look at the Mega Man X Full Armor version from D-Arts, the no longer existent D-Arts, which is really just Figure Arts, kind of an offshoot brand. Now it's just all SH Figure Arts. This guy came out a while ago, and so did Zero Type 2, and Zero Type 2 is getting reissued, so this guy may end up getting a reissue also, so I thought it would be helpful for you guys if I reviewed him again. Now that I know a little bit more about what I'm talking about. I reviewed this guy pretty early on in my reviewing career, so I thought looking at him again would be helpful. This is the packaging, in case you are curious. Has the big X across the front, window box, side art, back of the package, and side of the package. Nothing too special there. He stands roughly, let's say, 13 centimeters tall, a little bit shorter, and about 5 inches tall. So definitely not one of the biggest figures ever, but it's still such a nice Full Armor X figure. Actually, I love all of the D-Arts Mega Man figures, to be honest, even the ones that aren't that great. I really like them. But that's because they have a certain appeal to them. They have this sense of nostalgia. They're almost perfect figure recreations of the little sprites from the games. So I have a particular fondness for these, and I think probably anybody who collects them will feel the same way. So if you don't have one and they do reissue it, make sure you pick it up. I'll post it on my Facebook page when Big Bad Toy Store gets the pre-orders up, if, like I said, if these come to fruition. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but if they don't, then you need to track one down and hopefully get a good deal on it because it's such an awesome figure. First, let's go through the accessories. You get the arm pieces for either side, so you can remove the buster and just put a regular hand on that side, and then he's got hands. I'll show you as we go through that. So you can get rid of the gun if you want to, and you can put the gun on either side. And all of the Mega Man figures, the parts are interchangeable. So if you wanted to take Full Armor's hands and put them on the standard X or on the, whatever the purple and blue one is called, I can't remember right now, you can swap them all out, so that's kind of a cool thing. Same thing with Zero also. So you get the forearm piece for either side. You get an alternate piece for the front of the buster, so that you see this one has a little gem in there. This one does not, and that is so that you can use the blast effect parts. This one is a three-way part. That peg goes in there. This can come off, and these can all be interchanged to create different effects, different ways to do it. I'm not going to go through all the different permutations, but you can swivel them and repeg them however you want to, and it's a nice piece. It's a nice deep yellow. It's nice and lightweight, so it's not going to be a problem for posing. Then you get this guy, which is a nice piece, very nicely sculpted. That comes off if you want. It's super heavy. It's really, really heavy. That's okay though, because they gave us a stand for it. So there's a peg hole in here somewhere. It's right around here somewhere. Where'd it go? Hard to find the peg hole sometimes, but it's in there. Let's find it real quick. There it is. So you can just peg that in there. And then this has the hinges on it, so you can adjust the height for where you want the blast to be. And so double hinge, however you want to do it, like that. So that's pretty useful like that. It's a really nicely sculpted piece, super sharp plastic, so be careful. But it looks really cool. We have some alternate faces. We have just the standard face, right there with the green eyes. We have the angry face, looking off to the side. And then we have the yelling face looking off to the other side. They look a little bland right there, but once they're in the helmet, they look really good. And the helmet just splits where the seam is, and you can swap out the face like any Figure Arts figure. Then I mentioned we have hands, so we have fist hands for either side. They're a nice flat metallic color also, very cool looking. And then we have the open palm hands for either side also. And they just pop on little ball pegs. So pretty nice spread of accessories. I think that's more than enough. And we have a nice aesthetic. He's got some glossy parts, some metallic parts, the clear gems for the head and the buster, and then the sides of the head. Then underneath the feet we have those. Just a really cool looking figure all around. As far as articulation goes, we have a little, well, let me see if I can just pop it off and show you. So we have a ball peg down at the bottom of the neck, which lets the entire neck move around. Top of the neck has a ball hinge, which gives us plenty of range of motion. You shouldn't really have any trouble posing this guy's head. You can really get it however you want to, no problem at all. So that's pretty good. As you can see right here, we have the ball peg that connects the arm to the body, so that just moves around like that. Then we have the ball hinge for the shoulder itself, which lets the arm move really well really good range of motion. Then the shoulder pad actually just snaps onto the sides of the ball hinge, so it has a little bit of play in it as well. We get a bicep swivel at the top of the arm. We have technically it's a double jointed elbow. You get really good range of motion there. And then the wrists are on a double ball peg, so the hands can move around inside that forearm piece. It's a little bit limited, obviously, just because of how it works, but that's how it goes. And then as far as swapping the arms out, you just pull them off. It's not the best design as far as I'm concerned because it's really fragile and it's a very tiny peg and it doesn't hold super well, but it kind of keys in there and it snaps on, and you can see our really overly complicated double hinge system with the cap that hides it, which looks good, but I think they could have probably designed it a little bit better. Well, I don't know. For the torso, we have, I think, just a single ball peg, but you get pretty good range of motion. Side to side works, forward and back a little bit. You do get a little bit of rotation out of it as well, so pretty good range of motion. Mine has a blue line on there. I probably could get that off if I wanted to. It came that way. I don't know how it got there since it's gold above it, but I can hide that pretty well. So if it is a common issue, you don't really have to worry about it because you can just bring the torso down and it doesn't look too bad. For the lower torso, we get another single ball peg that gives us pretty good range of motion. Pretty much can pose them however you want to. For the hips, we have kind of a complicated system. It's like a double hinge swivel type thing, really hard to describe, but this little cap piece moves with the thigh, so it looks pretty good. And then you can move the thigh around underneath that hip joint, so you can move it around a fair bit. Not a huge amount, but probably good enough, I would say, and you get a thigh swivel out of that also. Double jointed knee, similar design to the elbow, so I'm not going to take that apart to show you, but you get good range of motion. And then for the feet, because everybody's probably worried if you're not familiar with the figure, how well do the feet move since they're big and bulky? They move pretty darn well. You get a ball peg that goes into the shin, then you get a ball hinge that goes into the foot, and I can just probably show you, and then a ball peg that goes into the foot even lower. So you can move it around quite a bit. It's a little tricky to peg this back in if you do pull it out since it goes forward, and that's in, I think. So you can actually move the foot around quite a good deal for being such a limited sculpt, you would assume, but it works really well. You can bring the foot forward, bring it back, hinge it, however you want to do it. You shouldn't have too much trouble posing him at all. It's a very, very nice figure. Lots of playability, lots of shelf appeal. I do recommend it 100%. Stick around for some photos at the end, guys. Make sure you give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Again, make sure you look at my Facebook page. You should follow it because I do post pre-order information all the time on it, probably like 5 or 6 times a week for new figures and things like that. So follow me there if you want to see if this guy does become available again for a reissue. And lastly, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.